And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gem in the Crypto, episode 627. Today is Monday, December 21st, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday. And today's top stories: Microstrategy buys a dip, now has more Bitcoin than the entire United States government. Microstrategy CEO offers to share his Bitcoin playbook with billionaire Elon Musk. JP Morgan, Bitcoin is overbought, but will suck money out of gold. Early Bitcoin developer misses out on $1.3 billion after selling too soon. Square's Cash App now lets customers get Bitcoin back on purchases. And last but not least, why Dogecoin immediately surged about 25% after Elon Musk tweeted about it. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and check out these prices. Bitcoin's coming in at $23,000 and $23,063.21 today, down 2.02%. Ethereum's at $616.97, down 5.23%. You can even see these percentages and prices swing as I'm saying them. I just saw a switch just now. It's pretty funny. Ripple is at 52 cents, down 7.81%. Stellar at 16%, down 7.22%. Chainlink at $12.54, down 7.76%. Let's see, Litecoin at $108.59, down 5.74%. So as you can see, it's a red day. If you even if you can even consider this a red day, as we already said, once Bitcoin passes that $13,000 threshold and just starts blinking, these prices will go up and down by the hundreds and thousands every day, as we see it go sideways, or in this case, it's actually been going up. Because I remember last week seeing Bitcoin at 19,000, 20,000, 21,000. Here we are going sideways anywhere from 22 to 24,000 over the weekend. And of course, as I've said before, as that cash dollar value gets higher, that percentage swing gets lower for what it takes to actually move the needle. So we have been seeing that. It's not necessarily a red day or it's a bloody day today. Bitcoin has been pumping nonstop. We're still at somewhat of an all-time high. Of course, it hit 24,000 over the weekend, but still, this is pretty much still an all-time high. We're sitting at 23,000, and we're in good shape. A couple quick shout-outs real quick. What's going on? Leroy Forbes, Tiffany from New York, Bruce Biggs, D. Chiron, hello. And top story of the day, and kind of the theme it looks like is going to be as we end this year is Microstrategy. They're back in the news. As they buy the dip, and they now have more Bitcoin than the entire United States government. That is right. Michael Saylor announced another $650 million purchase of Bitcoin as price dips from the weekend highs. You can see here business intelligence company Microstrategy, which has been in the news the last few weeks for the big Bitcoin buys they have been publicly announcing they have made, has added to his Bitcoin stash with a purchase of 29,646 Bitcoin for a total of $650 million, an average of around $21,925 per Bitcoin. CEO Michael Saylor tweeted the news immediately following a pullback in price of $22,247, although it's unclear whether the acquisition coincided with this event. Again, MicroStrategy announced its intention to buy more Bitcoin earlier this month with a $400 million debt security sale to raise funds for this purchase. The bond sale ultimately bought in $650 million, which has now been used to buy Bitcoin as promised. So again, the company is now holding a total of 70,470 Bitcoin, bought at an average price of $15,964, which gives them about, and the government, of course, only has about 69,420 Bitcoin. So they're almost at 1,000 more Bitcoin than the government. We get it. MicroStrategy is buying up all the Bitcoin out there. In a way, this is a good news thing as we start seeing more institutions come in and buying it up. This is kind of not the greatest news as well, though, and we'll talk about it in a moment. I kind of alluded to this last week when it came to the price of Bitcoin and where it was at, what we were looking at. I was like, I'm not even sure if this is the real price, the real volume of it, or is this companies just coming in and buying it and inflating the price at this point. Which sucks because this is in another example, maybe not intentionally, but this is an example of Wall Street playing with the price of Bitcoin. Because if we go back to 2017, when everyone was still anti-Bitcoin and anti-ICO and trying to do everything to spread all the FUD. If you remember, there was a bad news story coming out about Bitcoin and crypto every other day that was being co-signed by everyone. And that's when we saw the price at $3,000 or $4,000, $1,000, $5,000. That's when the price should already been pumping up to these numbers. And these numbers shouldn't be going as high as they are right now. So it's one of those things where the market is being picked at, again, from different angles, from outside forces, all at one time, these aggressive buys. And it's causing the price not to know what to do next. It's causing traders, of course, not to know what to do next. But again, the positive thing is that it has led to an all-time high. But as I stated already, I'm not sure if this is a real all-time high that can be propped up, because you have people like Microstrategy coming in every quarter saying, hey, we got $600 million. It's not normal, right? Everyone is not doing that at one time. So again, that makes me feel like sometimes some of this volume is fake. But I want to give a shout out to Crypto Blood, CBTV, of course, who's on with us last week. He did call for a $30,000 all-time high in the short term, and we're seeing again $24,000 right now. It doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. It looks like companies will continue to buy the dip, at least in the short term. And that's the case. I can't see that 30K happening, again, at least for the short term. Who knows, we'll actually stay there. Black Impact said, what up, family? Charles J. Kelly, 900 billion added to the Fed balance sheet. I'm ready. You know I'm going there too with it. I'm definitely going there. D. Sharon said, bought the dip this morning. Nice to say 22K is a dip. That is true. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about, we just saw the 900 billion pandemic relief and stimulus bill that's supposed to be coming down the pipe here in the United States. I'm sure that will also prop the dollar, prop the price of Bitcoin up as the dollar continues to drop. We'll talk about that in a second. But Microstrategy CEO Michael Saylor was also in the news this weekend as he and Elon Musk had their back and forth on Twitter, which of course made the crypto world go crazy. And before I forget, because I didn't bring this up as a story, I'm not sure Bitcoin Zay covered it last week, but shout out to Megan Thee Stallion and her team, who over the weekend gave out $1 million of a free Bitcoin in the form of Satoshis. I saw people getting about $10 worth of Satoshis. And yeah, it looks like a lot of random people got it. I saw people all over my Facebook timeline receiving the Instagram timeline. So again, that's $1 million coming from Megan Thee Stallion and Bitcoin. I think it's a great marketing play, and I think we'll also see that from more entertainers. We already kind of saw Ashton Kutcher and Ellen with Ripple. I think we're going to start to see that all next year as that becomes a new fad, a new trend, a new headline. How much crypto do you have? How much did you give out? Which projects are you supporting? I think that will be a big thing we'll see next year. But again, Microstrategy CEO offers to share his Bitcoin playbook with billionaire Elon Musk. These are the stories where, again, I'm not trying to be the salty old guy in the room yelling, right? I am happy for MicroStrategy. I am happy for Elon Musk. I am happy for all these billionaires and companies getting into crypto. And we all know Elon Musk likes to troll, all right? So him coming online, he came on a tweet basically saying, hey, how do I buy so much Bitcoin all at one time? Is this even possible, right? And MicroStrategy CEO came on, well, hey, of course, I can show you how to do it. The Winklevoss twins from Gemini jumped on, hey, we can help you make these buys. Everyone was jumping in to let little old Elon Musk, the guy who can create a flamethrower, who's trying to create travel across the United States in less than 30 minutes, the guy who's making battery-powered cars and trucks, didn't know how to buy Bitcoin, right? Of course, people, okay? It was a troll move. It worked. It helped get more people involved in the Bitcoin space. So again, I am happy for all these people. The only thing I'm salty about is when I see the headlines, and I do see the narrative already getting pushed out, like the billionaire Bitcoin playbook, or some of these things that you can do to buy all this Bitcoin. He didn't do nothing. It's the same as Warren Buffett, people. I'm not even trying to hate on this person or nothing like that. But if I have an investment fund, if I have access to millions of dollars, to me, it wasn't even a smart playbook or a smart move for them to start buying Bitcoin post 15,000. Bitcoin has been less than 10,000. How many days since it's been out, right? Bitcoin's only been above 15 to 20,000, probably a total of 30 days. And that's on the high end, people. On the high end, Bitcoin has been over $15,000 for 30 days max in his lifetime. And you're telling me that in his lifetime of only being over $15,000 in 30 days is when you spend a good amount of your company, or whatever, a percentage of your company's money on crypto. That's not being smart. That's not being a genius. That's not being anything exceptional. Is you having access to funds and looking at Bitcoin. I guarantee you, if anyone else in the crypto space, any of our crypto warriors who watch our channel right now, if they had access to $1 billion, they would have thrown 250 million, 500 million in Bitcoin overnight. They would have already done it. So again, I'm not trying to hate. I'm not trying to be salty, but I'm going to make sure this narrative stays where it should be. There isn't a Bitcoin playbook if you're a billionaire. You just go buy more Bitcoin. And really, you're buying it at a bad time since you're buying it at $15,000 plus. That has not been the move to buy crypto. But again, I want to give these people a shout out because they are making noise. And they are, of course, stirring the pot for every other smaller company out there or for every other retail investor out there who still didn't know about crypto. So I'm not saying they're not doing their job as far as the marketing. These guys are doing a great job for being ambassadors and spokespersons for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. I will hand clap and applaud that. But also, let's not act like, again, they're making genius moves by just having money and doing what everyone's been doing since they started buying Bitcoin, right? It's not that great of it. It's not that crazy of a move. But regardless, here are the tweets that made crypto go up this weekend. Have his day in the limelight, which I'm happy about. Michael Saylor, again, Microstrategy, tweeted, if you want to do your shareholders a $100 billion favor, convert the Tesla balance sheet from USD to Bitcoin. Other firms on the S&P 500 will follow your lead, and in time, it will grow to become a $1 trillion favor. I am in total agreement, again, with Michael Saylor. But again, it's nothing that Bitcoin Zay and I haven't told literally thousands of businesses now the last few years, as well as many other people in the crypto space. Ken Bozak has been out there, Crypto Blood. I mean, there's a ton of people who aren't billionaires who have been out there telling businesses to buy crypto again before it was $15,000+ But I'm glad to see it happening on this large of a scale. Again, Saylor offered to share his quote playbook with Tesla CEO as he actually tweeted from one rocket scientist to another. Again, that's the point where I'm just like, I'm glad they're having fun with it and all that good stuff. But guys, like, also I want to see it become simplified on this level so retail investors aren't scared away. Because right now, as a retail investor, you're looking at one rocket scientist to another. You're looking at two billionaires talk about the price of $23,000 crypto, especially Bitcoin, especially when you have people in the space who don't understand you can buy a Satoshi. You can buy, 1,000 Satoshis. You don't need to buy a whole Bitcoin. It's people who still don't understand that. So to me, this narrative kind of scares them away. One rocket scientist to another, telling them now how to buy a $1.3 billion in Bitcoin, right? It's crazy. It's like, and then they go ahead in the story they add, the MicroStrategy CEO holds dual degrees from MIT in aeronautics and astronomics and science, technology, and society. Of course, they talk about Elon Musk and all the great things he's done with his investments. And again, this is no hate. I'm happy to see this. I just want to make sure this narrative is still there, where it's like these people aren't becoming like they aren't doing anything that has to do with their MIT degrees or their aeronautical or SpaceX or billions of dollars. It has nothing to do with that. It's just people with a lot of money realizing that they've already missed some of an investment and they're not going to miss the back end. That's all that's really happening. So again, no shade. I just got to put that out there. I know I got to be the real one in the room. It sucks, but I got to do it, people. I'm sorry. Now, one person I will also talk about in this article, like really clap at, is of course known gold bug Peter Schiff, who came out against the potential investment that Michael Saylor was telling to Elon Musk, saying Bitcoin is a pyramid scheme and advising Musk to, quote, not leave Tesla shareholders holding the same bag as MicroStrategy shareholders. Now, this is the reason why, again, on the flip side, Michael Saylor, Elon Musk, and all these people do look like geniuses, because you still have old gold bugs like Peter Schiff yelling at the clouds, telling everybody not to buy Bitcoin when it's $23,000, $24,000, like saying it's still not a solid investment. That is why you got the Michael Saylors looking like geniuses out here, and they mention their MIT degrees, because you got the gold bug Peter Schiff's right next to them saying everything they're saying is wrong, and they're keeping that narrative going, making it look like everyone who gets into Bitcoin in 2020 is still a genius, when in fact it's just a smart move to make. It just makes sense, right? So again, shout out to MicroStrategy as well as Tesla for stirring that pot this weekend. We truly did need that in a good sense. I mean, Bitcoin getting these good news stories is always a good thing to see. But let's not also get carried away and like start to look at like, all right, these are the geniuses as far as what's going to happen next. It's like, nah, these are the people who came in November 2020 and started investing at $15,000, $17,000 plus a Bitcoin. That's what's really going on. I want to talk to the people who's been in the crypto the last few years. investing and staying in when that bear market was in here and was shaking out the weak hands, right? I didn't hear about Microstrategy or any of these names. I never heard about any of these names in 2018, 2019 when Bitcoin's being crushed, right? That's was the time to buy it. When Bitcoin was, I don't know, it might go back down to 2,700 today. Might go back down to $4,000 a day. If you would have bought $600 million of Bitcoin back then, when the entire market was struggling, I got it. Makes sense. But again, when it's like 15, it's 20, and now we got the whole world looking at all that, and you have essentially disposable income. I mean, it's not your money. These people aren't saying I'm putting up $600 million of my money. They're putting up $600 million of everybody else's money in the pot. So again, shout out, glad to see it. But let's not go crazy with some of these narratives out there, Cointelegraph for sure. Let's see, a few comments. Madam Crypto said, I agree. Maybe we're seeing the effects of the halvening. I think, exactly. I think that's a lot to do with it as well. Let's not forget the halvening just happened this summer, people. I'll admit myself, I didn't expect for things to happen this aggressive. I still also do think we're overbought. I mentioned that last week. But with all that being said, I agree with Madam Crypto. I do think, Madam Crypto and D. Sharon, I agree with both of them. I think this is also some of the residual effects of the happening we're seeing right now. What's going on, crypto culture? Ryan James said, put my morning dip money into Ethereum. We're going to be talking about that as well, because that's where the next money is going to be made at, people in the altcoin market. That's where the real money is about to be made at, actually. So we'll definitely talk about that as well. Black Impact said, buying at the right time plus selling at the right time equals a cash bag. You already know it. Madam Crypto, great point there as well. I'm so curious to see, we will have the annual dip around the Chinese New Year. Great point. Great point. We cover the Chinese New Year in some form every year as we see crypto dip. Of course, when the Asian market begins to go on a holiday, they take money out the market. They stop trading as much. Great point, Madam Crypto. I'm curious to see how big of a dip we'll see around that time too, because again, this is where we talk about trends and trading at. This is where TA does make sense, right? We can track the Chinese New Year and the Bitcoin price literally for the last 3 or 4 years. We know it's going to dip. Now it's about how much is going to dip. And if you're a trader going toward that new year, you can already anticipate, all right, we know the price isn't going to stay. We know that we are almost certain so far from what we've seen. Of course, anything can happen. We're at a new all-time highs and everything. But it's one of those things like, all right, from what we've seen, we know the price probably won't peak around this time. If anything, it will drop. So if you're a person who's ready to start to short the price of Bitcoin around that time or doing anything like that, that might be an intelligent strategy to look at. Again, we're starting to have some of these things that we can trend off of, and Chinese New Year has been one. Let's see. D. Sharon said, I just don't have the guts to sell my positions. I just buy and hold for long term, dollar cost average when I can. There you go. All right, JP Morgan's back in the news. Again, I have to keep bringing them up. One, I'll give them credit on this story. I agree with them what they're saying. But I'm bringing up JP Morgan because if you notice, as the price of Bitcoin is up again all of a sudden, they're trying to attach themselves with every Bitcoin story out there. They are all of a sudden the in-house Bitcoin and cryptocurrency experts. I told you this would happen. Just like, and I missed it last week. I saw the news go crazy. I saw Bitcoin they cover it, how Coinbase is doing an IPO. I literally screamed that over and over again back in 2018. I remember the day when I actually do it. It's when when two things happened. It was within the same couple of months. It was when the Facebook public relations manager went over to go work for Coinbase, and Coinbase sent people over to Facebook. So they basically did this back and forth of trading of executives. And then the old TD Ameritrade president went to go work for Coinbase. When those two things happened in 2018, I was yelling. I was like, yo, that's IPO. Like, why would you have TD Ameritrade executive come to work for you? And why would you be taking Facebook's employees over to you as well, unless you're trying to set up a corporate structure and organize something serious to sell to the general public? And as we saw, they're doing an IPO. Well, I'm telling you what's happening right here with this when it comes to JP Morgan. They're going to keep nitpicking and talking about every little Bitcoin headline until we start to get in our head that JP Morgan and Bitcoin and crypto are all the same thing. They're experts in the space. They know what they're talking about. They're going to keep doing that. Do not listen to these people, because these are also the same people buying Bitcoin at 20,000 plus for the first time in 2020, right? If I remember, JP, the Dino Diamond, came out, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase in 2017, and called Bitcoin a fraud. So again, as Bitcoin, they say, it's like them talking about it's like a bitter ex. They keep talking about their ex-girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever who pays no attention to them. 3 years later, JP Morgan is in the news again talking about Bitcoin is overbought. Now, while this is a true statement, I think, I agree with this sentiment. We'll go into this article. I don't want to get them no credit for making this headline because, again, JP Morgan, we don't need you to tell us that. We're good. You decided to stay on the sideline. You made it public. You didn't want to have no parts of this. And until they come out publicly and say, hey, we dropped the ball, it's really nothing for them to be saying to make an impact in this market. So I definitely want to point that out when it comes to this narrative. Expect to see more headlines like this where it's going to say JP Morgan, Bitcoin, ... They just want to be in the conversation at this point. They don't want to be left behind. Now, with all of that being said, JP Morgan made headlines that they're saying Bitcoin is overbought, but will suck money out of gold. Institutions need to keep buying Bitcoin to avoid a price drop, JP Morgan analysts say, but the outlook is rosy and will come at the expense of gold. It looks like institutional investors may be all that's pushing up the price of Bitcoin. A new report from JP Morgan Chase claims. In comments on December 18, quoted by Bloomberg, strategists led by Nicholas, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's last name, Nicholas P., added to recent forecasts about the role of institutions in Bitcoin's future. JP Morgan is saying Bitcoin is overbought, saying that the large-scale inflows seen this month must continue to avoid a price correction. And of course, those large inflows we have seen have been coming from these institutional investors. They go on to talk about how since Bitcoin has been pumping, gold has actually started to take a dip and is losing its place over to Bitcoin, which is making them believe that people will start to spend more money on crypto as we're seeing, and that money will come out of gold. Well, here's a few things. Let me fix this article. Let me fix this report by JP Morgan and tell them what's really happening. Because, I mean, essentially, I'm in the belief that a lot of JP Morgan strategists, as well as called out, as well as some of these other people who write articles, are watching our show first and literally writing some of the things we say in their actual reports, which I actually love. I'm not even hating. I love that. I just wish they give us credit for it so we can get some paper too. But to fix this, here's the thing. Bitcoin is overbought. Again, I said that about a week or two ago. I said the money isn't coming from retail investors. It's coming from institutions and companies, which makes it seem like it's fake volume to me. And if it is fake volume, once all this overbuying stops, which we're seeing at a monthly rate, we saw Coinbase talk about, hey, they said we're getting $200 million with like a month or a quarter in from institutions, right? And that was with last year, earlier this year, they were saying that. End of last year, earlier this year, they were saying that. So basically for an entire year, we've seen billions of dollars pumping in crypto only, I won't say only, but majority, I can't say the word, with the majority coming from institutions, right? So that means at any point, if it stops, the price probably will dip. I agree with that. I think that's what's happening right now. And here's the scary part. If they were to stop buying as aggressive as they are, not only will the price dip, I think it's going to go into a free fall because no one else has been buying this much. And if that price goes into a free fall, I think we will definitely see weak hands. And here's something we never discussed. What happens when we see weak hands from a company? It's one thing to see weak hands from a group of retail investors or whatever markets. But the moment you see weak hands from a company who has already publicly said we bought $600+ million of crypto and they start losing money, that thing slips down to 15,000, slips down to 12,000, slips down to 9,000. You need to protect your losses, right? This is a company now. Some of these companies are going to be publicly traded companies who might put their money into crypto. Their investors, their board members aren't going to be okay with money being lost because it's just sitting in Bitcoin. They're going to want to pull and try to cover those losses. And if something like that happens, we can see Bitcoin go from $23,000, $25,000 to $14,000, what could seem like literally 2 or 3 days if that free fall happens. So again, I agree with the sentiment that Bitcoin is overbought. It is being overbought by institutions. And it remains to be seen what's going to happen when they stop buying at this aggressive rate. So again, I do agree with JP Morgan on that point. Now, the second part, which I don't fully agree with, is how they say it will come at the expense of gold. Again, JP Morgan, Wall Street, they're so close to it's like when they say with lawyers, you shouldn't defend your own case, right? You're too close. It's too personal to you, too close to the issue. It's the same thing with JP Morgan right now. They're too close to the issue And them, like many other institutions on Wall Street, either because they can't see the truth or because of the fear of the truth, where if they come out and say what I'm about to say publicly, the United States government will probably come and slap them around, if not shut them fully down. But Bitcoin has been sucking money out of the fiat market. First, before we even talk about gold, let's go and talk about the fiat market. The dollar is super weak. Like, forget weak, it's super weak. One Bitcoin still equals one Bitcoin, people. That fact still hasn't changed. One Bitcoin now equals $23,000, which means the price or the value of the dollar keeps going down. We're talking about the future. Maybe in a week or two, the price of Bitcoin will be $30,000 per Bitcoin. Again, no new technology will have been invented within the last 5 to 7 days for crypto. No new amount of people will have known about crypto in the next 5 to 7 days to pump it up that much. It would literally come from the dollar failing. It will come from the dollar falling, and even add proof to that. As the stimulus package just got approved, whoever, again, $900 billion, with $600 million or 600, is it $900 million or $900 billion? I can't even keep up, people. $900 million or something. 600 of that going toward the pandemic relief. Whatever the crazy numbers, whether it's millions or billions, the fact remains is that we're printing funny money. And once people get this funny money, they're going to spend on different things, some of which will be going back into the crypto market, again, propelling that $23,000 to $30,000, which again will show that Bitcoin is being overbought. It might be fake volume, but the money keeps falling from the sky. You're getting free USD airdrops, so why not spend on crypto, right? Why not spend on Bitcoin? We all did the same thing when we got the free Bitcoin Gold, the free Bitcoin ABC, Platinum, or whatever else it was, right? The free Bcash. Whenever these airdrops happen, many people sold it right away and bought more Bitcoin. So that's all they were getting from the American government. We're getting a $600 for some people, whatever it is, airdrop here in the next few months, upwards of $600 million plus. And we expect to see that go into the market. So just off of what I'm seeing with MicroStrategy, they just said they bought the dip, did $625 million purchase over the weekend, right? They brought the price of Bitcoin, let's say from 22,000 to 24,000. Well, if this new 600 million that the government is about to pump into the market is real and people start to spend it, we can easily see the price of Bitcoin go up another $1,000 to $2,000. That means the math is that easy, right? So right now we can look at Bitcoin and say, it wouldn't surprise me if a month from now, once this money starts dropping, we see Bitcoin sitting sideways at $25,000 to $26,000, because that's the money the United States has pumped right back into the market. And last but not least, the expensive gold. Again, gold is going to suffer just like any other asset out there is going to suffer. Anything that people store their money in will suffer as more people come to crypto. So yeah, it's coming at the expense of gold from an institutional point of view, where you have institutions like MicroStrategy, and I'm just using this as an example, where yearly they might say, hey, we put 10% of our portfolio in gold. Whereas this year, they're not going to say we're going to put 10% in gold and 5% in Bitcoin for a total of 15%. No, they're probably going to say we're still going to use this same 10% to invest. We're just going to put 6 to 7% in gold and the other 3% in Bitcoin, or 5 and 5. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, we will see that come out of gold, only because I think businesses and institutions are just going to rebalance that sheet. They're not going to actually change the percent. They're going to invest it as a whole. And then again, it's going to come at the expense of anything. So this is more just of a headline. The main thing about this story I want you to know is that JP Morgan isn't doing anyone favors by coming around talking crypto. Stay in the dark corner you all decided you wanted to be in, and let us all handle the cryptocurrency industry. Thank you. Let's see. D. Chiron said every JP Morgan statement tries to bring down crypto prices so they can buy more. Exactly. It's one of those crypto Q, JP Morgan gold manipulators. This is my issue right now. When they make these statements, when they say these things, it does dictate the price. And unlike everyone else in this space, they aren't being held accountable for any rules. There isn't no market manipulation when JP Morgan gets to talking crazy, right? But let some mom and pop ICO or something do something crazy, the SEC is coming down on them. So yeah, that is my issue with JP Morgan, make it clear. And also to make it clear, people, this is a money business. I wouldn't doubt if I ever go work with JP Morgan one day. Just on the crypto side desk. Be like, look, this is what y'all need to do to bridge the gap. This is going to be the cost to make that happen. No, I'm just kidding. There we go. Rodney Fury said crypto might dip until after the Chinese New Year. That's possibilities. It happens every year. Don't panic. PFC Will said facts, bro. That's going against their business model mindset. I cannot wait. David Lucas said I don't have no idea what I'm talking about. None. Appreciate that, David Lucas. If you like, you can come on live tomorrow when Bitcoin Zay is back. We can get your opinion on the crypto market. Hopefully you know a little bit more than me. D. Sharon said spent $200 at the grocery store yesterday. The dollar is definitely getting weaker. Right? It's crazy. Ryan James says stimulus equals $600, which is 1 Ethereum. There we go. CBTB Crypto Blood, what is up? And shouting out now, Crypto Blood, we got to do a show together. I will be back in the city. Actually, this week, I'm going to be back in Detroit. I'm going to come back on Wednesday. I'll be back until next week. So for anybody in Detroit, we'll try to do a meetup or whatever. I'll definitely be touched down. I'll be all over the east side and west side. If you know me, I'm everywhere. So yes, we're going to make that happen. I will be back this week in a couple of days. I'm definitely going to shout out, pull up on Crypto Blood. Hopefully I can be in the background of one of his videos or something, have this thing going. All right. Early Bitcoin dev misses out on $1.3 billion after selling too soon, right? I'm glad this story came out because, I understand. And not only just myself, I'm sure many crypto warriors out there, you guys have been around now watching us, some of you for 3 years. It's crazy to even say that out loud. We're on episode 627 or something, 620, whatever. And you all have been around. And I make that point because some of you did buy at the all-time high, but some of you didn't. Some of you got in 2018 at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and you're not saying nothing on the chat right now, sitting pretty. But my point is, after 3 years, you all have been in the market long enough to have either made or lost some money and to understand what it feels like to miss the big one, right? There's some altcoin you all out there have seen that you missed. There's some a dip you've seen that you knew you should have bought that you missed. You felt the pain, right? And you probably FOMO'd into a bad buy. It happens to everyone. But I think this is an important story to talk about because, I'm feeling this right now. I'm hurting right now, people. I'm like, I could have, Bitcoin's at 23,000. Like, I should have been at this point right now. I'm only here. Like, how is this possible, right? I understand that. But in the last 3 years, we had a bear market. You still got bills, right? Life still goes on. So I understand. But this guy came out saying, I'd be a billionaire now if I hadn't sold the 55,000 Bitcoins I mined on my laptop in 2009, 2010, way too early. You talking about sick. This is a guy who said he could have been a billionaire. What? This is the stuff that makes people jump off of bridges. I literally feel this person's pain. Shout out to Cointelegraph for the artwork. They got the guy face in his head, his hands with the bees around it. But it looks like Marty Malmi, one of the earliest Bitcoin developers and also known as Sirius, has explained what happened to his once massive crypto holdings since 2009. Like I said, hey, Bill, you still got bills, people. According to a Friday Twitter thread, from the former Bitcoin developer, Malmi mined roughly 55,000 coins between 2009 and 2010 when the price was almost zero. Malmi said that he ended up liquidating 5,050 Bitcoins for $5. Again, people going from, I think it was like 12 or 13 cents, going from 13 cents to $5 in a market that no one even heard of or believed in. I get it. We're selling some of that, right? He sold 5,050 of them in October 29 and lost 30,000 Bitcoin. Oh, I understand that too. Again, I've lost Bitcoin between exchanges, scammers, hackers. I've done it. Like a lot of Bitcoin out there. So we understand it. He lost 30,000 Bitcoin through one of the first Bitcoin exchanges he ran when there was, quote, no established exchange rate. He's quoted saying, I was planning to hold the rest of my Bitcoin, but had to sell the most of it at a bad rate, around $5 in 2012. When finding a new job took longer than expected, said Malmi. Since then, I kept my varying amount of savings in Bitcoin. That's not much, but still nice gains over the years. And again, he even talked about how he bought a studio apartment in 2011, which he's coining as the most expensive studio ever bought, when he spent 10,000 Bitcoins to buy that studio. Again, people think about that. 10,000 times 23,000 right now is what he used to buy a studio apartment. I think that probably is the most expensive studio out there. He said it hasn't been as rough as it might sound. It's not like I ever had $1 billion and lost it overnight. Besides Bitcoin's success, I'm pretty darn happy about getting my own apartment at 22. He said perhaps owing to Finnish culture, idealistic mentality, and lack of experience, I never thought much about making money. It happened accidentally as a byproduct of Satoshi asking me to keep my node running so others could connect. No, I will not let you blame yourself. What's his name? I want to mispronounce it. Marty Malmy. I won't allow you to blame yourself. It's not finished culture. It's not idealistic. It was a good buy and sell. It was a good investment. I tell you now, anyone on Wall Street, if they see a short-term investment go from a few cents, the 10 cent, 13 cent to $5, they might be hitting that sell button at $3, at $2.50. They might hit that sell button at $1. Again, that's $1. That's 9 times, people. That's 9 times your investment, right? So you talking about $5. He waited till almost 45 times his investment before he hit the sell button. So I definitely don't want this person or anybody like this person in their shoes to blame themselves, to think they're too idealistic, they made a wrong move. No, it was a good investment. Now that we know how powerful Bitcoin is, we all know, hey, you shouldn't be selling all your crypto, at one time in the short term or ever again, right? For that matter. But I want to say this is a bad move. So again, I wanted to bring this story up because people always look at the price of Bitcoin. People always look at crypto and say, I could have bought here. I would have been this, or I would have did that, I would have did that. And the actuality is it just wouldn't happen, people. We saw when Andreas Antonopoulos, a speaker of cryptocurrency, he had been around for years. And it wasn't until 2018 he came out and was like, I still don't have $1 million from Bitcoin. I've been doing all this talking and doing all this stuff in crypto. He didn't have it. It took for the community to donate $1 million to Andreas, which he so deserved. I mean, of course, he deserves way more than that. It was way late. So he deserved. I'm not saying that, but it took for people to donate to him for him to become a Bitcoin millionaire. I can speak for myself personally. Bitcoin Zay and I have been in this space for a long time. I'm telling you, things go up and down and left and right. And no matter what you think you should have, you're never going to have it because real life is happening. So I just want to make sure I put that out there because I know there's a lot of people who are sick at times when they see the price of crypto, see where it's at, and they know where it could have been for themselves. All right, Square's Cash App now lets customers get Bitcoin back on purchases. I mean, just a quick hand clap for this. The story pretty much explains itself. Cash App, the cash transferable app of payments giant Square, is now allowing customers to get Bitcoin back on every transaction. You can see it now here. Cash App actually tweeted out right now, earn Bitcoin instantly when you use your cash card only with Boost. Again, previously Cash App only allowed U.S. customers to get U.S. currency back on its transactions, or only allowed customers to get U.S. currency back on this transaction. They're gloating about this move, saying this is another sign of the growing mainstream acceptance of Bitcoin and the increasing importance of the leading cryptocurrency Cash App into its parent. And it's also a step ahead of rival PayPal, which recently dove headfirst into the cryptocurrency arena. I like this bullet point because this is showing what's going to come. And that's going to be institutions having to compete with each other, right? Right now, there's these fees to buy Bitcoin and all this other stuff. What's going to happen when every institution does have Bitcoin, when they do have their own little mine of Bitcoin, right? Then all of a sudden, we're going to start seeing things like, hey, low fees, no fees. We'll give you Bitcoin to come over here and trade or come over here and buy, or we'll give you Ethereum or some other crypto, right? In fact, I think that's where we actually see the use case of a CBDC or of another private coin like the Libra or Diem project, where we see companies like Cash App say, hey, we'll give you free JP Morgan coin. We'll give you free US dollar coin, free Yuan coin, Petro coin, whatever you want to call it, right? We'll give you this free government-backed or mainstream-backed coin as long as you come trade your Bitcoin or buy your Bitcoin on our platform. That is where I can see some of these ancillary coins and these CBDCs being used almost as chips, as pieces to reel you in to come and have you use their account. So again, I think this is a good thing though, because as we see more institutions and businesses get Bitcoin, we'll start to see them compete with each other. All right, and last but not least, I'm going on long day. I missed you all last week, so I had to get it in today. Dogecoin is back in the news. Why Dogecoin immediately surged 25% after Elon Musk tweeted about it. I mean, honestly, people, do I really need to go into details of this story? If Elon Musk or any celebrity tweets any crypto coin, it's about to pump, all right? I mean, you really don't have to be a celebrity. You could be somebody with a nice little crypto Twitter account and put a coin up there and it's going to pump. So we don't need to go into the depth of the details about it, but it's in the news. Elon talked about Dogecoin. He tweeted about it over the weekend. He tweeted Dogecoin. He said something like Dogecoin is the future. Dogecoin standard future. He basically said that Dogecoin was going to be the future of crypto or whatever. And it went crazy. It pumped. And then later he tweeted, Bitcoin is my safe word. So again, Elon Musk to me is doing what billionaires are supposed to do. Be a billionaire. Go on a Joe Rogan podcast, smoke some weed, tweet about Bitcoin, do whatever the hell you want to be happy. He's being a billionaire right now. I'm happy he's being a billionaire. But I also, I would say, I want to educate people and let them know that just because a billionaire tweets about a coin, it isn't important. But we know that's not the truth. Most retail investors out there are only looking at the price of Bitcoin. If a celebrity or anyone with any notoriety tweets about it, they're about to buy and go crazy because they don't know how to think past that little psychological trading moment where it's just like, oh, somebody said it, buy it, right? So we know that's going to happen. Get used to it. We're going to see more of this. What will be interesting to see, though, is how this plays out with the SEC, right? Didn't they come down on we interviewed him, I can't think of it right now. They came down on John McAfee when he was pumping and dumping coins basically on Twitter, right? That's kind of a pump and dump. That was kind of a pump and dump in a way, right? Not all the way, but it was kind of a pump fake. So I definitely want the fans coming after Elon. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying, again, we saw Megan Thee Stallion just do something to talk about Bitcoin and give it out. We see Elon Musk talking about it. It's okay as long as it's Bitcoin, right? What happens when you start coming out talking about other projects, other coins, other ICOs, other STOs, right? So far from what we've seen, the government comes after you. They came after T.I., right? Or some of their people. They came after the people who's working with Mayweather and DJ Khaled. I think on the Central one, the Jamie Foxx one, they backed. They came after all these people who were pumping ICOs and STOs, John McAfee. So again, I just want to see what's going to happen as more of these tweets start to come out. On another note, when it comes to Doge, oh my goodness, people, I didn't even know this. The Dogecoin little charm is actually like a extra thing you can buy or you can get on Call of Duty Warzone, the video game, the shooting video game. There's actually a Doge charm for your weapons that people put on the weapons. So Dogecoin is everywhere. A lot of young people know about it. And yeah, it's definitely going to be around here in the crypto space. And we always say you can expect a good Doge pump, right? Now, with that being said, altcoins as a whole, if you feel like you missed out on some of this Bitcoin pump or you're missing out on this Bitcoin pump, it's okay. Start to look at some of the altcoins you're interested in. Start to look for those low cap coins. We always talk about going dumpster diving on here, where there used to be exchanges you could go dumpster diving, which has since, of course, not been the same, went out of business, wherever. But you can still, on your own, go to your Exodus wallet, go whatever wallet you're using, cross atomic swap, buy some different cryptocurrencies, do some research on some of these smaller cap coins. Of course, use discretionary income, because if the money does flood into these altcoins like it should, like we're seeing it pumping the Bitcoin, then you almost can't miss, people. Every coin will have its pump day, just about, as long as it has a community behind it. So I strongly suggest you look at some of these altcoins. And if you want to look at what type of community they have, go ahead and check out the Bitcoin forum with whatever altcoin. Literally just Google Bitcoin forum Ripple, Bitcoin forum Dogecoin, and check to see how many pages they have, how many, when was the last update, where are people talking about right now. Check to see if the community is active. And if it's an active community and that altcoin is less than a penny, people, go ahead and buy it and get ready for that pump, all right? Last few comments before I get out of here. Let's see. Scrolling back up real quick. Yeah, CBTV said hindsight is 2020. You already know it. PFC Will says smart move. Take 300 CA in Bitcoin and take the other 300 and put into 3 startups under Jobs Act for crowdfunding. It's a good play for the non-accredited investors. Damn, appreciate that, PFC Wills. What's going on, Maddie B? Wolfpack in the house. You know how we do. Let's see, Josh Allen 702. Thank you for the tip. Appreciate that. Playing 8 digital gold during this run. There we go. Rodney Fury said, I'm copping all the cheap crypto from the weak hands. There we go. Let's see. Ryan James, yep, said that stimulus package. I read that the $600 equals 1 Ethereum. Grant Roger, what's going on? Said feel good story of the year. T Will lineman for hire. What's going on? Last few comments. Let's see. Crypto Blood, everybody love you, man. We definitely got to get you back on soon. Minho Donahue, thanks for making the live stream. Shah Aha, do you believe the price is going to 100K in 2021? Woo-wee. I think no one can predict that. No one can predict it. And literally all it takes is that black swan event. If we go another year of pandemic, I mean, it's not far-fetched to say we could see Bitcoin start to hit 40 or 50K. Crypto Blood called for it at 30K, right? If it's at 30K and it goes sideways and it's another full year of pandemic and something goes wrong where everybody is scared to go back out in public still, then yeah, we might see that 40 bounce around and easily start to go 44, 46, 48, back to 44, back to 50, 52, 53. Next thing you know, we have 60, 70. So I don't think it can happen in a year, to be honest. I think that's a bit aggressive. But in 2 to 3 years, I think it's really possible. I think it's truly possible. Grant Rogers said, bro probably has suicide hotline on speed dial. Hilarious. Talking about the guy who missed out on the $1.3 billion of Bitcoin. Listen, people, I'm still sick about a lot of stuff. So when you talking about I could have had $1 billion, oh yeah, that would have me hurting for a while. I would probably tuck, if you notice lately, I've been tucking my head in the sand, people. It's because I am hurt. I'm sick right now. Every day I get sick, I look at the price of crypto. Rodney Fury said, want to be successful, just become an asset collector no matter what. So long as you are betting against the dollar right now, you can win. That is very true. Let's see. PFC Will said this is the same thing Simon Dixon has been talking about. The number of early day folks who had dumb amounts of Bitcoin who are broke today is real. The new folks after 2017 don't get it. People, it's crazy because this is like, I was explaining this to someone recently. It's not even that you're broke from spending Bitcoin. You got to remember, like, especially the 2017, that crowd right there, the 2017 crowd got done to me the worst. Because not only was the crypto market being the crypto market, you had government regulators coming in trying to arrest everybody. Like, what? You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things like, yeah, you really think you was going to make a lot of money in crypto and you weren't going to have no issues for 3 or 4 years until the price went up and you became a billionaire. I'm sure there's someone out there that's not tweeting anything that does have $1 billion in crypto from the early days. But by and large, it's not happening like that, people. So many things are happening in between these times that it's just not happening like that. Let's see. PFC Wills, 9 times out of 10, they're giving you colored Bitcoin. Don't forget, it's about the accounting method to track and trace. That is very true. All right, and last but not least, last couple of comments. CryptoQ says, sort for low volume and coins with yearly lows. Not advice, but those are swings 3 to 4 months later. Check GitHub and Blockify per Crypto Blood and King Bless. CryptoQ is right. He's giving you trading advice right now. He says start for the low volume coins. True. And coins with yearly lows. That way you can kind of find a higher swing. And again, for these coins, people, like $20, $30, like you don't have to go crazy because if they do pump, when they do pump, the returns are so high. I mean, it's ridiculous. So for the people who have $10, put $10 in. If you have $100, put $100. If you got 1,000, put 1,000 in. You got 1,000 to $5,000 and you put them in one of these small cap coins and pop. I'm telling you now, I made bad trades before when I lost a decent amount of Bitcoin. And because I was like in something I probably shouldn't have been, way too much money that popped, I was able to make up for that loss, right? So it is possible. Be careful out there. Discretionary income. And yep, I'll end on that. Jeffrey Dickerson said, waiting on the altcoin season start. So am I, Jeffrey. That's when we can all get back in the game where we deserve to be and take our rightful positions at the top of this market. Other than that, that is the show for today. As always, thanks for watching. I know I went long today. That's because I missed you all a couple days, so I'll put 2 in 1. And we'll see you all tomorrow with some more crypto news. Cheers.